Welcome to What Self-Care Looks Like. I'm your host, Brittany Elliott. It may be hard to hear, but self-care is not spa days, a weekend getaway, or brunch with your bestie. True self-care is the practice of protecting your well-being and happiness, and it lives within your daily routine. I'm a self-care and mom life coach here to help you prioritize your needs and practice self-care in a meaningful way so you can reclaim joy in your motherhood experience. Let's get back to you. Hello, and welcome back to What Self-Care Looks Like. I am Brittany Elliott. I am your self-care and mom life coach here to help you prioritize your needs and practice self-care in a meaningful way so that you can reclaim joy in your motherhood experience. I'm happy to be back with a new season. It's May. Happy Mother's Day. Happy May. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Happy all the things. Today, I'm talking about 5 mindset shifts all women need to adopt to thrive in motherhood. I have a little bit different of a setup today. I have my notes going on one side of the screen, me on the other. We'll see how this comes out and how we like it. If we like it, we'll keep doing it like this. If we don't, we'll change it. That's the luxury of this podcast lifestyle. So, one thing I want to mention before we dive into these 5 mindset shifts. For the past 3 years in May, I have run a Mother's Day series where I bring on guests for each month or each week in May. A couple of years it actually ran over because we had, so many guests. Where I feature the stories of just everyday moms, just via interviews on the show. And this year, I am going to talk about what some of those women are up to now and how their lives have changed since we last spoke with them. So I'm going to link their original episode to the show notes of this one. I just wanted to be transparent and say that I'm doing it this way because those are like 18 really great stories that are super relevant and super important for you as a listener to hear those stories. So if you haven't heard them, I want you to go back and listen to their stories. The other part of it is I'm just busier, not just in podcasting and in the business of Back to You in 5. I'm just busier in life. I'm busier at work. Since I've started podcasting, I've, been promoted a couple times at work. Things have gotten busier. My husband's schedule has changed a bit. He had switched jobs since I started the podcast. Our daughter's much older. She has a schedule and things and commitments that she needs to get to. So I just really don't have as much time as I used to coordinate guests, especially when I need them to be on at a specific time. Before I would start reaching out to guests in like January, we would record in February and March, all to air some episodes that would come out in May. Now, I do still bring guests on the show, which is nice, but I have a little more flexibility in when they come on, like when their episode goes live, and that gives them more flexibility to be able to come on the show at a time that fits in with their schedule as well. So I just want to be transparent about some of those things. So let me update you on 3 of the people now, and I'll let you know about a few of the other people in an upcoming episode. But Raquel, she was on my first Mother's Day series in 2022. She and I are friends from way, way back. From my days when I lived in Southern California. Neither of us were moms yet. I met her actually when she was pregnant with her first child. So, and I believe he's like 12 now. So, just some updates on her since she was on in 2022. They move. One of their kids is off to college. They're a blended family. So, her husband had some kids. She had some kids, and they've had kids together type thing. Now they have a grandbaby, and her husband's like on the brink of retirement. So there have been a lot of things that happen. She said the children now, they're 19, 17, 15, 12, 8, 7, and then her grandson would be maybe about 3 months now. And these days for her, self-care looks like This is her response to what self care looks like for her. It is a non negotiable, but I've learned to look at all of what I enjoy as self care, not just exercise or alone time. Everything can be self care. I agree with that. Dana came on the show in 2023 and she shared like a really specific situation she was having with her mother-in-law and her husband and just like disagreements that they were having and how they were working through and overcoming that and how she and her husband were raising their children. Well, since then, they've had a third child. They recently had a baby girl. So they have two boys and a girl now. Their ages are 12, 4, and then the baby will be a couple months at this point. And self care now for her looks like getting her hair done or watching a movie while the baby naps. And then Kate, Dr. Kate Hostetler, if you recall, from 2024, some of the changes that have happened is she's been really focused on growing her practice and taking on more clients, hiring more therapists in her practice. She's been really active in social justice advocacy. Her children now are 7, 3, and their oldest 12, maybe. Um, my daughter and her 7-year-old are really good friends. They were in the same kindergarten class. They're in different classes now, but sometimes he'll ride with my husband and my daughter to school. We go over there often. They actually live right around the corner from us in walking distance. So she was a friend that I made just from seeing her at like open house one day and then happened to ride past her house and I'm like, "Oh, she looks familiar." And then I stuck a little note inside my daughter's like take home folder and just wrote like to the mom of this child and then she got it and started texting me and now we're like friends in real life, which is really cool. And for her now, self-care looks like rest. So definitely go back and listen to some of those episodes because they were just really, really good stories about unpacking the challenges of motherhood, how they find joy in their motherhood experience, and what they're working toward at that time. Hey, it's Brittany here, your host of the show, and I'd like to invite you to grab your copy of my book, What Self Care Looks Like. It's the roadmap for working moms who want to prioritize their self care and rediscover the joy in their motherhood experience. It's a must read for any mom who has felt lost, unseen, or unsure along her motherhood journey. Buy it today at www.whatselfcarelooks.com. Now let's talk about you. Okay. So, when was the last time you truly felt like you? If motherhood has left you overwhelmed, stretched thin, or feeling like a version of yourself you barely recognize, you're definitely not alone. I've been there. And that's a large reason why I built Back to You in 5 on a foundation of mindset shifts that help moms move from surviving to thriving. And before I jump into those shifts, I want to talk briefly about my philosophy on self care because it does tie into these shifts. So, self care is the practice of protecting your well being and happiness. It's going to look different for you, for me, for some of the moms we talked about, Kate, Dana, and Raquel. It's going to look different. Because of that difference, it's important to prioritize the things that truly bring you joy. So, there's nothing wrong with trying different self-care activities on for yourself, but if you learn that they don't bring you joy, pivot to something else. That's absolutely okay. Um, I always recommend focusing on mind, body, and spirit when building your self care routine. So, for the mind, we journal. For the body, we move, we stretch, we work out, we take walks. For our spirit, we meditate or we pray. So, when starting out, I want you to focus on 5-minute activities that improve one or more of your 5 wellness points. And the 5 wellness points are social wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, emotional wellness, and intellectual wellness. And I'm going to define those for you from my book, y'all. From my book. Don't forget, What Self Care Looks Like. The book is available through Amazon. So, social wellness is the ability to create, maintain, and promote good relationships with others. It's important for you to maintain relationships that encourage connections, support mutual benefits, and decrease harm to others. Physical wellness promotes proper care of our bodies for optimal health and functioning. It consists of recognizing the need for physical activity, a balanced diet, and sleep, along with preventing illness and injury or managing chronic health conditions. Spiritual wellness is being connected to something greater than yourself. It's having a set of values, principles, morals, and beliefs that provide a sense of purpose and meaning to life. Emotional wellness is the ability to experience, manage, and express feelings appropriately. It's the ability to respond resiliently and effectively to changing emotional states and effectively cope with situations that present challenges and obstacles in life. And the final one, intellectual wellness, is recognizing your creative abilities and finding ways to expand knowledge and skills. It is the ability to be open to new ideas, critical thinking, and learn new skills that can be shared with others and used for the betterment of our community. At the beginning of this year, at the beginning of 2025, I opened the year with doing a series where I talked about each wellness point in detail. So each wellness point got its own episode where I went through, I defined them, and I talked about different activities that actually improve those wellness points. So if you haven't heard those episodes, please scroll back to those and take a listen. There's some really helpful information in there. And I also break down some activities that you can do to boost those wellness points within my book as well. So this is all, back to you in five is really just all this intertwined thing where I'm putting out resources to give you opportunities in whichever medium you like to consume information so that you can really take control of your motherhood experience, reclaim joy, and actually implement sustainable self-care into your daily life. Okay, here are the five most powerful mindset shifts that I've seen change everything for moms. Number one, the shift from sacrifice to adjustments. Okay. You don't have to give everything up. You just need to shift what matters right now. I was actually just listening to a podcast episode on my way home where it was a panel, three women, three moms, just talking about how they navigate motherhood. And they were talking about, all these sacrifices that they've had to make as mothers, or how motherhood requires all these sacrifices. And I absolutely despise using the word sacrifice in that context. I am a believer that if you are making decisions and you are prioritizing your wants, truly prioritizing them and saying, hey, I'm doing this thing that's important to me because it's more important than this other thing over here, then I don't really think that you are sacrificing. If you're making an adjustment or adjusting your priorities based on the fact that your kid is very important to you, what you want to do with your child is important to you, and it must be more important than this other thing you could be doing, then I really think we need to be adopting the mindset of making adjustments for your children and not making sacrifices. And I feel like that goes for anything, even if it's about the type of career that you want or where you want to work as a working mom. When you take a step back and say, okay, how do I want my career to look now that I am a mother? That does not mean you are sacrificing your career. That means that you are prioritizing the way you would like your life to look going forward. Now, if you feel for some reason that becoming a mother has set you back, from being able to achieve some of your dreams, especially when it comes to your career, I would challenge you to say, is it the place that you're working? Is it the company you work for? Because I know a lot of working moms who have thriving careers and a thriving motherhood experience because they've designed both in a way that makes them feel empowered and fulfilled. And you can't trot along that path with taking the negative spiritual baggage of thinking that every decision that you have to make now as a mom, that it's sacrificial. Anytime you can't do the thing that you would have done if you didn't have kids, it can't just be, oh, I'm sacrificing so much for these kids. Like, you're actually just parenting. And I think that you should feel empowered to parent in a way that is in alignment with your vision for your life. Mindset shift number 2, shifting from I have to I get to. Gratitude and choice are powerful in reframing your day to day life. So, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe more than that, I don't want to give myself too much credit, but I started saying I get to instead of saying, oh, there's all these things I have to do, or I have to go to work. I have to go to this meeting. I have to record this podcast episode. I have to. I started saying, I get to, because I feel very fortunate that I have the opportunity to do the things that I get to do. And instead of fulfilling an obligation or fulfilling a commitment and feeling just overly inconvenienced by it, it's okay to have an obligation. It's okay to follow through on a commitment that you made. I get to do it, and most of the time I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be able to show up in this way. I'm happy to be able to provide service and be of value in whatever it is. Now, is it that big of a deal if you say, I have to go grocery shopping today? I mean, it's probably better to reframe like, oh, I get to actually go out and fill up my fridge so I can feed my family. How about that? So just be mindful of that, because all of this feeds into that negative self talk. So just be mindful of your mindset and really work to make these shifts. Shift number 3, shift from self care is neglectful to self care is preserving your happiness. Taking care of you means you get to show up as the mom and woman you want to be. So you should not feel any type of tension about doing something for you, moving your body, wanting alone time, journaling, sitting and being present with your kids, detoxing from your phone, all of those things. You should feel like you get to do them and you're happy to do them and you're willing to make adjustments in your life so that you can prioritize your self-care because it's important. Was it yesterday? It may have been just yesterday or 2 days ago, let's say. I was in the kitchen cooking dinner for my daughter, and I was looking at the time and I was thinking, I'm not going to get to work out. I didn't work out this morning. I should have. I was too tired. I really want to work out before I go to bed, but how am I going to do this with her getting her dinner? And then I want to sit with her. Then I want to chat with her before bedtime. And while things were cooking, I had something on, like the George Foreman grill. I had something in the air fryer. So it was pretty much a hands off of cooking. I just had to monitor everything. I went downstairs, grabbed a set of our 10-pound weights, came upstairs and just started doing some reps of arm and back exercises. And that was my workout. Once dinner was done for her, I stood with her because I'd already eaten. And I stood and finished my workout while she was eating. And we talked while I was working out. Now, would I have done that, past me? Like, before 2020 me, before I got on my self-care journey, before Back to You in 5 was even an inkling of an idea? No, absolutely not. Self-care is definitely a journey, just like motherhood is a journey. All of this, you learn and you grow through it. But that for me was very grounding, enlightening, freeing, even to know that I was sitting in a moment where the choice was I can do all of the things that I want to do. It's not going to look how I think it would look. It's not, it's not gonna look perfect. It's not gonna look like me in a matching, you know, workout outfit and just having all this space. No, I'm just doing this workout and I'm getting the job done. And I was happy to do it. Mindset shift number 4 is from guilt to grace. You are doing more than your best. You are being intentional about doing things differently, doing things better, really getting to know the type of mother you want to be, the type of partner you want to be, the type of employee you want to be, the type of business owner that you want to be. You deserve compassion and not shame. If it is about you lowering the bar sometime to create space for grace in your life, if it is about saying no more often, setting different boundaries, do not put yourself into or paint yourself into a corner of, if I don't do this, I'm going to be guilty about it, because life is just so circumstantial. You may make a commitment to something that you just can't do. Like, I spent the first quarter of the year intentionally in hibernation, and there were a lot of opportunities, events, and things that I said no to because I really put a lot of effort in writing the book, publishing the book, putting the book out, marketing it. It was there and it's, selling. And I was like, I am going to take a pause. And so that was January, February, March. And then April, I was back to having a very productive month. Business was doing well. I was generating sales at that point, whereas I went through a whole quarter where I wasn't even, trying to do so. I was very much lax on the business side of things. And I was really just focusing on family and nurturing the community that I already had. And doesn't feel sacrificial. It felt like a break that I had earned and that I was grateful to have. So think about what that looks like for you in your life. And the mindset shift number 5 is the shift from losing yourself in motherhood to rediscovering yourself in motherhood. Motherhood isn't the end of you, it is a new beginning. It is a huge adjustment. A huge adjustment, especially in your first year to 2 years. There are a lot of factors that can come into it. You can have a lack of support that you're making a huge adjustment to. You can be going through postpartum depression or other postpartum disorders during that time. You're learning a new you. You're getting the hang of your child. Your child may have needs that you did not expect. And now you're trying to pivot and learn how to deal with this child and these things that they need. So, something may have happened between you and your partner. Maybe you don't have a partner. There are so many adjustments that have to be made. But when you step back, when you step back and ask yourself, who am I now? Who do I want to be going forward? And what am I willing to do to create the life that now aligns with this new vision that I have for my life as this new self? Because you are a new self. Then you can be intentional and set a plan, work the plan, and get to where you're really trying to be. So these aren't just phrases, they are mindset anchors that can ground you when things feel messy, heavy, or just too much. So just to recap, number 1, the mindset shift from adjustment or from sacrifice to adjustments, from I have to I get to, from self-care is neglectful to self-care is preserving your happiness, from guilt to grace, and from losing yourself to rediscovering yourself in your motherhood experience. If you want help putting all of this into practice, let's walk through it together inside a personalized first steps back to you roadmap session. That's my one-on-one coaching program where you'll walk away with a clear direction, a self-care routine that fits your lifestyle, and a plan to start feeling like yourself again. Or you could buy my book, What Self-Care Looks Like, which is available through Amazon. And if your mental load has been your Achilles heel lately, you can buy the mental load audit and workshop. It's a self-paced training and resource to help you gain control of your mental load so it can be a productive tool for you in your motherhood journey. And I will link to all of those. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram. That's where I hang out mostly, at Back to You in 5. And until next time, I appreciate you for being here, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Be kind to yourself. Thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you learned at least one thing you can implement into your daily routine. To connect with me, follow at Back to You in 5 on Instagram. If you're feeling generous, share this episode with a mom you know and subscribe to the show. I appreciate your support. Remember, motherhood is a journey, not a destination. Grow through it and enjoy the view.